The beard has kind of betrayed me and died. You know, it's like it used to be more the color of your beard, and I love keeping it at that length you've got, where it's more just like eyeshadow for your face.
Headphones, right?
Now it's so white that I have to grow it heavy so you can see it. Otherwise, it's just like, is that mustard? What's going on there? Just little stripes of red and black and mostly white. So,
but by the way, just an FYI, I am streaming this right now. So,
okay.
But it's just like, don't worry about it.
Hang on. If that's the case, let me go get pants.
I need to, let's see, make sure it's all set up right.
Okay. Little Theo is stoked on his first comedy appearance, his first YouTube live stream appearance.
Oh,
Theo,
dang.
everyone, Theo. He will not be hanging with us for the whole show. J.R. Berhard.
You look super joke.
He can hear us, but you're muted, brother. You're muted.
Oh, he's standing for this.
I'm standing for it. Yeah.
It's stand up. Duh.
I thought I could like improv. I could,
Cyber comedy jam.
Does it look all right?
No, yeah, it looks great.
Great. Yeah, that sheet is well ironed.
It is. It's fresh off of the bed, so a lot of fucking happened on it.
That's good luck.
That's right. You guys hear me okay too? Does this sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Crystal clear.
Yeah.
Dope. Okay. Way to go, Steve Jobs.
But oh yeah, so JR, just since you're just joining, so just to let you know, I had 2 comedians call out saying they can't make it. One because she can't talk because she just got her wisdom teeth taken out this week and it hurts like crazy.
Sure.
One just canceled, and then one's a maybe because he told me that he just got a headache and he's puking, but he might be able to make it. I don't know.
So
But
COVID or is a comedian. So
I hope he's not. I hope it's not COVID. I don't think it's COVID. That'd be sad.
is that a shitty joke now? I don't even know. I've not done comedy in 6 months, so.
Oh, this is perfect.
I just realized a bit that I can definitely tell now. Oh, this is wonderful. I just thought of a bit because I entered a relationship right at the beginning of quarantine with this wonderful woman, and she right when we moved in together was right when the toilet paper crisis happened, and I had my toilet paper stocked, and my hoard was gone in a fucking week. It was supposed to last me months.
Oh man. Oof. That's rough. Man. My car got broken into, and the only thing they took was the brick of toilet paper. And I'm like, it's hard times, man. There was thousands of dollars in golf clubs, and they're like, you know what? I'd rather wipe my ass for a month than go to a pawn shop and fucking COVID. So.
Yeah. Police are looking for a suspect who's not scratching his ass every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So.
It was single ply toilet. It wasn't even good toilet paper.
At least you didn't lose much.
Oof. It's terrible things.
Did you guys reach the level of desperation where like anything from like paper napkins from the Taco Bell were like what you gotta use?
Bro, I was using fucking wet wipes. I was using fucking Lysol wipes.
Ooh, can't imagine that felt great.
I'm pretty sure you can get an infection with that.
I got so desperate at one point. I drove down to Seattle and started breaking out car windows just looking for rolls.
Yes. They got the best shit on the street, bro.
God, my fucking dealer stopped taking cash. He only accepted Charmin.
Yeah. It's the worst weed I ever smoked.
I don't know. I feel like I'm a trooper. I just use 1-ply. There's a lot of that in stock, you know.
I use printer paper, bro.
I would take printer paper over 1-ply any day.
Yeah.
Nah, man, paper cuts. Hell no.
I've never had a paper cut.
I use vanilla envelopes to wipe my ass, so
I think that the toilet paper ration should be based on the level of hairiness of the, you know what I mean? Like, it's not fair if your ass is like this, that you get the same amount as.
That's true. I gotta untangle fucking cobwebs when I wipe my ass.
Yeah, it's not just toilet
Sure to
paper.
come first.
Scissors, yeah, wire brush. So
Super fair. Guys, I'm gonna go grab a beer. I'll BRB.
Good plan. Good plan.
Yeah. Is it just us 5 then? Is that what's going on? Is that what we're doing?
How often? You
Ish.
I think these are all the yeses. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Really?
All right.
Yeah.
Fuck it, bring it on.
Yeah.
I could.
Get that beer.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Be pretty funny. I'll let you know. Sure. Why not?
What?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
I mean, if you don't want me there, you
No, of course, yeah. I'm
I'll do
joking.
something else. But
I'm joking.
it's like you're a comedian. God, I need to make a new YouTube account.
Hey,
Hey, Brock.
what?
Are you gonna be able to go back later and see who watched this? Like, look at the list.
No, it just shows how many views it got.
Okay.
And that's it. Oh, Julian.
Yeah.
Julian. Is it?
Guys,
Oh, I told Matt's here. I honestly almost forgot about Matt. Julian, you're alive. You're not
Yeah,
dead.
I survived.
We all thought you had COVID for like 1 second.
No, I thought so for 1 second too, but I guess I took a hot shower and now I'm either asymptomatic or fixed. So,
You know. Oh, so that's the cure. Is just take a shower and you'll be fine.
except now my neck beard is way more prominent, which is an unintended consequence of that shower. So now I just look like
Well, I'm
like
glad you're here then. So that's
I
perfect.
feel better.
And that you're feeling a lot better now. Are you gonna be able to stay through the whole show then, or are you just kind of?
Yeah,
feeling...
I think so. No, I don't know what did it to me. It felt like a migraine. I've never ever gotten a migraine before. So I
Okay,
feel
well, very glad you're
Yeah.
feeling well.
feel much
so-
better now. Yeah.
Just letting everyone know that so Cecily and Millie had to cancel. So the order is gonna be Peter, then Glenn, then Julian, then Matt, Sean, and then JR.
I can't follow Matt Benoit. It's too much pressure. Look at him. First of all, Matt, you look like you're filming a Rainier commercial in 1981, which is
Yeah.
that backdrop is crazy awesome.
Yep.
The wood paneling is
Yeah.
it's gone too soon, you know.
This is what my dad's house. It was built in 1980, and this is what this is what it looks like. So
It's
yeah.
fucking dope. It's so good.
Whoa, who farted?
You can have more.
Yeah, what's what are we?
We're just now we're just waiting until it's like exactly 6:30 and then we'll start the show. So
We look like a very broke version of the Proud Boys that are supposed to be in Portland right now. So
Yeah.
way to bring home the white, Brock.
Yeah. Yeah. We're a
We
lesser
do all
known
look
group
like we
called-
believe in strong communities.
Well, yeah, we're a very strong community.
We're a lesser known group called the Shame Squad. We
Yeah, that's a better. Yeah,
pretty much just roll up and troll on people on YouTube.
that's right. I'm hiding my shame. Well, I masturbated a bunch right before this, so after fucking on the sheet. So-
yeah, I was about to be like, I'm glad you don't have a black light at all.
Yeah, that's it. Just a Jackson Pollock.
You could sell it as an art piece, probably.
Yeah. The fucking sperm bank. I mean, look at some of our homegrown art.
I don't think the sperm bank will just wring semen out. of
No.
things.
Oh God.
I sell it to them as a project. No, if you put a black light on it in your lobby, it'll be art.
Yeah. I think that's kind of my sense of that business is it's more of a buyer's market. They have you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys who want to jerk off for money, so I don't think they have a hard
Also
time.
true. Also true.
Don't write down comedian.
Yeah. A lot of sub-quality demon donators.
Yeah, of course. I just want to.
Don't write down comedian. That's great.
Sir, we have 500 donations from you and 0 takers. Wow, that's amazing.
We all look so bright.
So we've all worked on our lighting.
Do you mean like we look very intelligent, or?
Yeah, I get. Wait, is that a hole in your hat, Sean, or there's a little?
I have a lot of hats that have the same rub mark because I ride a motorcycle, and when I put the helmet on, I put the hat on the seat has that little back cover thing. I put it on there and it slides down and gets all the way in the wheel. I literally have 6 hats that have the exact same burn on it.
Yep.
Dang, that's some coordination right there.
It's my signature move now.
Yeah, we've seen the hats. We haven't seen the motorcycle. It's, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know
no,
Yeah. Well, Glenn, because you moved, Glenn, you left us.
I did. But I came almost all the way back. I was in.
You're just like my dad, and I hate you. I'm quitting this show.
I never knew my father.
It's all right to hate me, but you have to do the show. You have to man up and follow Matt Benoit.
Wait,
Yeah, Matt.
oh my
Matt just phased into the fucking mountain.
Oh my god.
Jerry Garcia just became Jerry Garcia, like an apparition.
You should end your routine just by
Keep on
disappearing.
trucking.
Fade into the background.
Oh, keep
Oh,
trucking.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna pronounce everyone's names, make sure I get it right this time. So Glenn Bristow, J.R. Berard.
Nailed it.
Berard.
Out of your mouth is fine.
JR printer error.
JR results not found.
Matt Benoit, Julian Thompson, Peter Geisler.
Just do G. Peter G.
Peter G. Peter G. Okay. Wait, how do you pronounce it? Just out of curiosity.
Geisler.
Geisler. Oh, it's like Chrysler, but with like
Yeah,
a G.
with the G.
But more
Guys,
complicated.
But also
Without the fucking
The,
Christ, you heathen.
doesn't even have a ring to it, so I just use G.
we can.
Yeah,
Fun
I can-
fact, it's a. What was that?
I was like, I can only. How come I can't see your chin? I only.
Matt Benoit is getting rid of a body in that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This just became a true crime live stream.
Yeah. I must find the body.
Who done it? Fun fact, my last name is Dutch for herd of goats.
Nice.
That's dope.
You don't just bring one goat, you bring the whole herd, baby.
The whole fucking herd. Not a wild, not a fucking amateur wild herd of goats. It's a farmed herd of goats, a professional herd of goats. Because
All right.
apparently it's distinguished.
Yeah. This isn't even a real mic, by the way. This is my actual mic, but I just kind of want to oh, hey, this looks so normal.
Yeah.
Matt, don't
Better
make
than
it
mine.
any better than that. Leave it at that exact same quality, like throughout the entire show.
Become fucking Mistwalker.
Oh yeah, by the way, so in case if everyone remembers, you don't have to mute your mic when comedians perform because we also want to make sure everyone's laughing. So we want, utter silence.
So if you suck, stop talking.
Yeah.
That's it. Got it.
And
That's
no
my
one laughed.
general fucking life motto.
Oh, dude, don't
You
give
said
us
it.
a yawn right now.
Are you setting the spotlight whoever's on, or will they literally like if I laugh really loud while Peter's going, will it cut to me or?
So what's gonna happen is when it's the when the comedian's performing, I just have it pinned on, so it will stay on like whoever the person is like the whole time and everything. You'll just hear like other people laughing and whatnot.
Okay.
'Cause we
Hey,
wouldn't
Brock,
want
is
it
it-
where like switch to other people like while you're like maybe you're trying to do something visual or whatever. Then that's gonna ruin things. So
Hey, Brock,
okay.
can I send the invite link to Sean for as an audience member
if
since
you
we have room in the
want,
Zoom meeting?
if you want, but like if he heckles once, oh boy, he getting a fat boot out of here.
Fat boot.
Yeah. I already have my live audience member right over there.
That's true. Sean could just sit on my bed.
Just sit right behind. Let's see Sean. Bring Sean out to give the people what they want.
Give the people what
Sean
they
and
need.
Peter back together.
All right, we're about. Oh, all right. It says 6:30 here, but 6:29 on my phone. What time is it? I don't know.
I have 6:29 on my computer and 6:29 on my phone.
It's 6:29.
Time's a concept. Who even knows? I guess I should wait for my phone to say 6:30 because I don't know if I trust the computer. All
I
right,
mean, they're
it's
both theoretically
6:30.
synced with some kind of satellite.
All right. Is everyone ready for some cyber comedy jam? Can I hear it in the
Yeah.
mic? And there's Sean.
Yeah.
Comes out 1 second. All right. Hi, everyone. I am your host using a Guitar Hero mic for my stand-up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm Brock Seaman. I am the one who put together this little thing called Cyber Comedy Jam. Is everyone ready? I need to hear it one more time.
Woo!
Yes.
Yep.
Wow, that's so enthusiastic. It's great. All right. So I'm going to start off going first then. So my grandma and I have a very close relationship, but she's a very religious person, which isn't a problem, no, except the one time when she asked me what the word WAP means. The Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion song. I didn't have the heart to tell her. You don't talk about WAP with your grandma. That's not really a grandma topic. I just told her it means worshiping and praying. And now, anytime she goes to Bible study, she says, I got a WAP for Jesus. Which makes things worse because now there's a whole group of elderly women in a Bible study group who say they have a WAP for Jesus. Actually, scratch that. It would be more of DAP for Jesus for them. If you don't know what WAP means, look it up because my grandma's probably watching this stream and I still don't feel like telling her. I want her to think this is just a very wholesome joke or not a joke at all. I'm sorry, Grandma. I love you. Don't look it up, please. I'm going to get a long text after this. I already can feel it, especially after this next joke. I went to daycare a lot growing up, but I went to two different daycares, but they were both night and day because my parents were divorced. So when I was with my mom, she was a bartender. So the daycare was at a bar. And then when I was with my dad, the daycare was at AA. And oh boy, I would see some familiar faces in both places. And that's when I became the 7-year-old narc of AA. Jim, do you really deserve that 1 month chip? I don't know where you were last week. The kids were different too. When I was with my mom at that daycare, the kids would be like, my mommy's passed out again. And I would say to them, my mommy's got to call your mommy a cab. Whereas my dad, it was more or less I'd ask the kids, so how's your black lung holding up from all this secondhand chain smoking, huh? Fine. Yeah, that's probably why I had asthma as a kid from all the secondhand smoke. So, but you know what? Fun fact, never smoked a cigarette. that's not a joke. I just want to give myself a pat on the back on that. Just we kind of need that these days. A little pat on the back this year, right? Thank you. Ooh. So I want to end on a couple of things. First off, I'm glad they finally found a cure to a problem we've all been facing for a long time, and that's resting bitch face. It's great, honestly. The government makes it like mandatory now. It's this thing called a mask, and you just like put it on, and you're cured. Now, so many people are so much more nicer to me now. It's great. But anytime when I do need to be a bitch, I got to use my eyes. There is a group of people who I don't like who wear masks, and that are people who wear them like this. Yep. You know what I call those people? Dick nose people. Because it's the equivalent of having your dick out in public. Flopping around. I don't even see that. Pull it up, zip it up. It's that easy. I want to end my set on a political stance. I want to say who I'm voting for, just to get it out of the way.
Drum roll, please.
I'm voting for the candidate who has the least amount of allegations.
Oh,
it's sad, right? Well, we got a great show for you, everyone. We have, again, I don't know how I pick them, but I keep picking the best comedians in the world. I know it. You know it. So so our next comedian is Peter Chrysler.
Hey guys.
Woo!
You guys know that shop downtown? There you go. You
Sorry,
guys
I was-
know that
Was stunned by the bravado mispronouncing your name. Sorry.
oh, it's all good. I've never had it pronounced correctly. You guys know that shop downtown, Wink Wink?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a lovers type shop. Well, I was walking by that shop one fine evening in I think it was last May before COVID hit, and something perplexing happened to me. Because I'm used to certain things falling out of the sky. Being Washington, it's usually rain, but on this fine day, it was a large dildo that rained from the heavens and presented itself at my feet. Now, I'm perplexed because I haven't heard of any atmospheric phenomena that makes it rain dicks. However, I had the foresight to look up, and I look up at this little apartment right above Wink Wink, and I see 3 women poking their heads out, just looking at horror at what has just happened. Now, it takes me a second to connect the dots, so I look up at them, and I look down at this rod from God, and I look back up at them, and I understand this is their dildo. Their dick is at my feet. I don't know what to do in this situation. I've never had another person's dick at my feet. So I try to be polite about it. I go, hey. And they go, hey. And I go, rough day. Yeah. This yours? Yeah. Do you want it back? Yeah. So I take a tissue out of my pocket and I grab it and I wind up the best javelin throw I can muster. And it sails over these 3 women's head, and I just hear a man shout, ah! So I think I pegged him. Weirdly enough, though, this isn't my only experience with the dicks falling out of the sky. Although usually, on the other account, it was my fault. Because I don't know if any of you have thought about this before. Potato cannons don't have to fire just potatoes. You can buy some cheap ass dildos off the internet, lube one of those sons of guns up and launch it as far and hard as your heart contends. So that's just what I did. I built myself a custom potato cannon. I bought a 10-pack of dildos, which you know you can buy them in packs if you look in the right places. I get my coconut oil, best lube I had available. I got my ramrod for the ramrod and shove it down in there. Take it to a local park early one morning when I don't think there will be anyone there, and I take a few test fires, and I can't say I've ever seen anything quite as beautiful as the sensation of holding a cannon, firing it, and watching a dick oscillate over the rising sun. gently waving in the breeze until it eventually lands in the mud with a very comedic wah, 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 wah. This is when the story goes from great to shit because an elderly woman was playing fetch with her dog at this park one day. Her dog thought it was supposed to fetch this dildo. So this dog comes, runs up and grabs this dick and takes it back to this elderly woman. She doesn't know what it is. So she leans down, she picks it up, realizes it's not a stick, sets it down, digs in her purse for her glasses, puts her glasses on, picks it back up and goes, oh, my goodness. And then immediately stashes it in her purse and leaves the park. I'm gone. I don't know what I just did. I enabled and corrupted some pure old woman. I used to work at Point Defiant Zoo in Tacoma, if any of you guys have been there before, if you're from the area. But I heard something beautiful when I was working there because I had this gibbon skull and I was explaining to some kiddos the cool similarities between human skulls and ape skulls because evolution's a thing, right? And their mom comes out of nowhere, furious, the fires of hell burning in her eyes, and she just grabs me and goes, "We are not apes, we are Christians." I don't know how to respond to that. Are you sure? Are you sure you're not apes? Fucking act like one. But that story always reminds me of my favorite phrase. Have you guys ever heard someone say "sweet Jesus" before?
No, never.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Brock's heard this joke more times than anyone has ever cared to hear this joke, so he already knows where I'm going with this. Why does it have to be sweet? What are the other flavors of Jesus? If we have sweet Jesus, it stands to reason there's a sour Jesus, maybe a salty Jesus, savory Jesus, Korean barbecue Jesus, dry aged Jesus. I recommend somewhere dark and dank for about 3 days to get the perfect aging on that. Didn't work out so hot last time though. You've got Jesus on a stick. You've got non-GMO organic free range Jesus. But this also makes me realize that flavors of Jesus sounds like Christian Mingle if you're too kinky for Christian Mingle. Come with me on this journey. There's 3 levels. There's vanilla, mild, and spicy. Vanilla Jesus. It's not that bad. It's a little weird. It's a little out there. You just call your partner father instead of daddy. Mild Jesus. Things are getting weird. My dad used to tell me in Catholic school that if you misbehaved, they would break a ruler over your hands. That ruler ain't breaking and it's not over your hands. Spicy Jesus. If you are faint of heart, deafen yourself and leave this stream for about 5 seconds while I get through this. Spicy Jesus is when you have sex without the guilt. Hardcore shit. So that's my time and my jokes. Back to you, Brock.
Woo! Well,
Peter Chrysler.
Peter Chrysler. That was great. I've also walked by that Wink Wink store before, and honestly, it's kind of cute because they always do like little like. I don't think one time during Christmas they had a dildo Christmas tree, and I was like, wow, I should have that in my home.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly. There you go. All right. Well, thank you, Peter. That was great. We're on to our next comedian, just swinging on by. Quick reminder, if you're like, hey, you guys look like you're missing a couple people. Well, we're down a couple comedians, but it's fine because we still have the best comedians in the world right here, even if it's us. I don't know how to count. How many people are here? Like 6, 7, 9.
Somewhere in there.
I haven't been to school for a bit. I blame COVID, so math's not my strong suit right now. Anywho, I'm here to introduce our next comedian. You know him, you love him. It's Glenn Bristow. Woo! Everyone cheer!
Hello, everybody.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Good to be here wherever we are. Nice to see some of you guys, and nice to hope that the rest of you are out there, feet up. Maybe you've got cold beers. I've been wondering a lot lately. I've had a lot of time to think, and it's really been bothering me. Why don't we make napkins out of jeans? Cloth napkins don't work. Paper napkins come apart. Only the jeans absorb all the Cheeto. It's really bothering me. I'm setting up a foundation. We're going to collect old jeans. If you've been putting on weight, if you no longer fit in them, just send them to me. I'll set up an Amazon distribution account. I'm gonna give the world jeans napkins. Maybe, how stupid have we been? We've come so far from when we were living under rocks and clubbing each other with sticks. I mean, now we live under trees and club each other with our hands. Why have we not figured this out? It's been with us this whole time. Jeans, dirty hands. That's my piece on that. There's 8 billion people in the world, and I find it hard to care about all of them. I want to care about everyone. I really want to care about everyone, but you couldn't even list them. Trying to list everyone would be like trying to read Leviticus. It just goes on and on and on. I mean, if there's any way to somehow multiply your love, to spread it around to more people, direct message me, inbox it. I'm curious as to how do you even know? How can you love your fellow man when there's so freaking many of them? So many people. I went to the park yesterday and the sun came out for a minute, and it was like you couldn't get a parking spot. You couldn't even get a spot on the trail. It was like sardines out there. What are we doing? I'm just saying, can we not have a COVID baby boom? Can we promise each other that we will find some way to not? Can we just put a pause on it for a while? You guys seen Children of Men? I feel like it wasn't exactly right, whatever they were doing there, but they stopped having babies for like 20 years. It seemed like it worked out in the long run for those guys. I work in an office. We deal with insurance companies, so I find myself on the phone a lot with different AI phone maze systems, right? And each one requires a little bit different finesse. And I was on the phone with Allstate's AI trying to get through to a person the other day, and you have to they record it all, right? So you can't just pop your mouth off and say crazy stuff and have the AI tip off the FBI, and then they raid your office, and then who knows where they'll quarantine you when you cuss out the machines. But so I'm trying to be polite, it didn't give me choices to punch a number, right? And so it's like, you have to listen to all this. If you want to speak to the claims department, press 1. All right. If you know your claim number, press 1. So I'm deep in this phone maze, and finally I'm muttering to myself like, oh, Jesus Christ, God. And the AI pops on and is like, I swear that it sighed. It was sad. I heard its feelings. It was like, okay, I'll transfer you to a person. So it's strange, because then I felt guilty, like I'd hurt this AI's feelings. You ever do that where you think someone's being a jerk to you, and then you kind of snap a little bit, and all of a sudden you realize that you're the way bigger jerk? So now, in addition to 8 billion people, we got to worry about hurting the robots' feelings. I'm not prepared for this. I was born in the 70s, man. We weren't. No one was like, hey, guess what? There's going to be computers. Computers came along. All of a sudden, they didn't go away. 9/11 came along. It didn't go away. The word ginormous came along. It didn't go away. The masks aren't going away, man. I've been telling myself it's going to be over soon. It'll be fine. I think even if we get a vaccine, people are still going to want me to put a bag over my head.
That's not about the virus, brother.
Thank you. Wait. Okay, I'll transfer you to a person. There is some hope in these dark times, though. I'm going to tell you, I was in the grocery store the other day, One of the few excuses I can leave the house for. And I came across something so wonderful. I get a little choked up. They've started to make lemon lime Alka-Seltzer. And I cannot wait to get heartburn now. I've been drinking marinara right out of the can. It's so good. You don't want to overdo it. At my age, too much aspirin can, push you right off the side. And I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't worry about that stuff. If lemon lime Alka-Seltzer is the way that I go, then I can take that. That could be what goes on my tombstone. Well, he wasn't that funny, but he discovered lemon lime Alka-Seltzer. So some of you guys have kids. Some of you guys don't have kids, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Those pets that look like people. So I don't have any kids, but I have a godson, and now he's 22, and now he has a baby. And I'm thinking, does that make me a grandpa? Like, I didn't read the fine print when I made this deal with God, right? Like, I'll look out for this guy. Like, if I live long enough, I'm gonna be like a God great grandpa. The rules aren't very clear. I don't know what does that mean? Like, I avoided having kids, and now I have a grandkid. Is that all right? Am I bald enough to be a grandpa? Anybody?
Perfect
Maybe?
amount. Perfect amount.
Yeah. This is I guess I see it now. It's a strange feeling to be a grandpa. When you still stay up until sunrise drinking and then pull it together with Keurig pods to get through the workday and then repeat. I don't remember the last time I've slept. You don't really need to sleep anymore. You got Hulu and Netflix and all this streaming stuff. Like, why waste your life sleeping? You just pound some coffee, drink some lemon lime Alka-Seltzer, log on to some website. Sometimes they pay you, sometimes they don't. I don't know. I don't really know right now if I'm at the office. Am I at a show? Is this my family get together? Is it Thanksgiving right now? There's so many Zoom meetings with so many people. I don't know who's watching. Is Allstate on the line? Can I get through to a person? I've been feeling kind of lonely lately. I'm alone all the time. Sometimes I feel lonely. There's a distinction, right? I thought about finally, if you can believe it, I've made it this far without ever creating an online dating profile. You can tell because I call it an online dating profile and not, I don't even know the words for it. The point is this, I really don't think that I should do it. I've tried a few times. I've logged in, I take a little picture. It kind of looks like this. The back of the picture, like, I try to flex, but then I realize I don't have that pecs. So, it turns out you have to have special muscles to make good dating pictures. But I try to type the copy and I'm thinking, okay, 40-year-old bald Caucasian male with glasses who lives alone in a house with a basement seeks avid petite jogger in her mid-20s for this is just like the writer's room at Law and Order. We're like, nah, we've seen that too many times. So then I thought about it. If I ever ran into a situation again where somebody wanted a date with me and I didn't want to go out with them, instead of just rejecting them, I just say, well, let's meet on Zoom and I'll just play, Law and Order on my Kindle and then just see how it goes, like a virtual. My point is, I understand how creepy I am. Sometimes you wonder, does that guy know? Like, does he know that he's creepy? Has he missed it? But I've come to understand that that's probably just the way that it is. I do have a little secret for you guys. I am a time traveler from the Bush administration. Now you're like, prove it? I'll show you.
What the fuck?
It's my actual phone. So, nostalgia. 2002, when we thought that was as bad as it could ever possibly get. I was reading a book on. I was trying to bone up on my Spanish, and I was reading a book on
Yeah, he's been right.
slang from Mexico, and I discovered that there's a slang term. Tarantula means full bush. Think about it. Full tarantula. And if you've ever encountered somebody with a full bush, you know, in that moment when you're about to find out what's going on down there, it is surprisingly similar to a tarantula and just as terrifying as if one came scuttling across the monitor. So I have lost track of time. I must now travel through time, and I will dial up on my time machine and punt back to our host and to the next comedian. Thank you guys so much. This has been really fun, I think. It's been good for me. I hope it was good for you.
G
Hey, woo!
N B.
Woo! So always got that. So apparently, when anytime you were showing your phone, it for some reason cut back to me for like 1 second. So for people to know, it was a flip phone, but in a way, I'm pretty sure it was just a cover story for, you know, is that your drug dealer phone?
It's my only phone. Definitely. I don't know if that answers your question. What do you need?
Yeah, I mean, it's either you're a time traveler or that's your drug dealer phone.
I can hook you up with Alka-Seltzer, generic Viagra, blood pressure medicine. What you need, dog?
I got that Alka-Seltzer. Alka-Seltzer is the shit for all you young pups. I mean, it is a lifesaver.
Yeah. You don't want Tums.
Brock, I think you don't also want... you're.
Sorry.
You don't want Tums.
Brock, I also think that your maybe your audio is on. Brock, we could hear your friend and you talking in the room also during.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Danny Forrest, they could hear you. How dare you?
Yes,
it's probably the one rule of Zoom comedy host should follow is like mute your own audio.
My bad. I'm getting chewed out on my own comedy show. I was gonna say I related to Glenn when it came to being like, oh man, I'm being an asshole to a customer service employee, because I remember when I got really stoned, I went to the movie theater and I was beyond just gone. I just have a system where I say yes or no. And she's like, do you want a receipt? No. Do you want anything else? No. And then she told me, have a great day. And I looked her in the eye and I was like, no. I didn't realize what she asked her. And I felt so bad because I could see the sadness in her eyes. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Well, that was awesome. It's time for our next comedian now. He's a trooper, everyone. Guy puked, had a migraine, and he's like, you know what? I'm one of the best comedians in the world. I gotta be where all the other best comedians in the world are. And that's Julian Thompson, everyone. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Yeah, Julian Thompson. Sorry, as you can tell, I take a lot of inspiration from Jason Derulo as an artist. So I was listening to some of his music earlier and I was like, man, what a way to start off the show. It's funny that all of the best comedians in the world and no women or people of color, or I would have really thought differently, but you picked us all out, Brock, for thanks for making that decision yourself. That was that was excellent that you feel that way about who's funny and who's not. Anyway, have you guys noticed how no chocolate bar has the correct name? Milky Way. Excuse me, what's that a fucking reference to, genius? Milk chocolate? Like, it applies to any candy bar. Snickers is just a joke name. Snickers is like someone was saying, hey, do you want a candy bar? Oh, yeah, man, thank you. Oh, excuse me, what was that? Nothing. Hey, do you like that candy bar? Yeah, it's good. I'm really liking it. Hey, what'd you put in this what'd you put in this Milky Way? Oh, you're gay as fuck, bro. It's nuts. I put nuts in your chocolate bar. Oh, get snickered, bro. And then the Three Musketeers, 2 components. Apparently, there used to be raisins or some shit in there, but even that's wrong if you go to that level, because the book has 4 musketeers. And if the candy bar isn't named after the book, then what the hell is it named after? 3 original musketeers? Go fuck yourself. Like, what does a chocolate bar even have to do with muskets? Like, also, if we're getting technical with it, chocolate is kind of conditional to a candy bar, so it really shouldn't be one of the musketeers if we're thinking about it. And don't you dare bring up fucking Payday. I see one of you. Oh, what about Payday, Julie? No, it's wrong. I just want to ask, what dry, shallow cunt thought, oh yeah, it's going to be better without the chocolate? Fuck you. Honestly, looking like a log of Mr. Peanut's dry shit. Rest in peace. My main point is that Snickers should be called Three Musketeers. Milky Way should be called Snickers, because I've never seen anyone smile when you hand them a Three Musketeers. And Three Musketeers should just be called What the Fuck Ever, because obviously nobody cares about naming that candy bar. And now, maybe some of you math guys in the audience want to say, hey, Julian, caramel, peanuts, nougat? I only counted 3 musketeers. Well, that's because you forgot about chocolate, asshole. And I know you might be saying, Julian, isn't chocolate not one of the musketeers? Yeah, neither was D'Artagnan. But he kept the team together, man. So now that I'm getting back into online school and my lighting is getting progressively worse throughout the show, I think the sun has fully set on me now. Has anyone ever successfully printed anything on a new printer? Just plugged it in, like, whew, one and done. Task
Today,
complete.
in fact.
Have you ever, like, yeah, I know it's a painful process of trial and error and trial and trial. It feels like a trial by God and fire and everything bad. So as maybe you've noticed that we've had to take a lot of note, us stand-up comedians, from popular online vloggers recently. And, you know, do you ever just notice that, like, you see a vlogger, you'll see they have a video where they've obviously bitten off way more than they can chew. Like, you'll see just video title, The Bible Confirmed. And it's like, oh yeah, you did it. Good job. Nice insight, Brian. I'm so glad that after 2,000 years of religion and study, all it took was that straight white male confidence to explain it to us. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'd like to make a note of saying art history and regular history are not the same thing at all, because my best friend, who is an art history minor, I was talking to her, and, you know, we were talking politics, and she says, oh yeah, Abraham Lincoln had a thing that made him really tall, and that's like why he died so early. From the fact that his head was resting above his theater chair? Like, that's why he died early? For those of you who don't know, Abraham Lincoln was famously assassinated, unlike so many other Republican presidents. So during quarantine, guys, I've done a lot of online shopping recently. Joke's on you guys. I'm already ahead of the curve. I already had to order my pants online. So fuck you guys. And my one solace in the Big and Tall website is that I'm both big and tall. Like, oh, sorry, no. I'm too tall for the pants at Target. You misunderstand. But beyond the normal maintenance stuff that you kind of have to buy, like clothes occasionally, I found out that you can purchase online a live octopus for the very generous price of only $90. And they also courteously mentioned, to dispel any fears that you might have as an octopus buyer, that if the octopus arrives dead, they will ship you a new one free of charge. Because I guess my one question is, what actually is your success rate on shipping me a live octopus? Do you just like, do they even bother to put it in like some futuristic water container? Do they just have some guy like chucking up at the door like it's delivering the paper, like octopus, 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 just going down the street, hitting up all the adventurous pallets in the neighborhood? Oh, I'm sorry, I mean loving pet owners in the neighborhood. I did this bit at the last Cyber Comedy Jam, so prepare for it again. But I was reading this news article recently about the Cake Boss. You guys all know the Cake Boss. TLC, I believe, is very yes. Only educated people watch the Cake Boss. But yes. I was reading this news article one day, and it was Cake Boss pulled over for reckless driving. Quote, "You can't arrest me. I'm the Cake Boss." Like, can't you imagine a world where the Cake Boss has some kind of like political power? So he actually has the ability to not get arrested for things. And he starts, using some of this political sway. He starts running for governor. He wins. He's like, yeah, I fed Chris Christie so many cannolis that he fucking died. We move on. We keep climbing up the political ladder. He promises to run for president on a system of fixing a broken institutions with well-molded fondant. And then we move on. He moves on to a stage of leadership and power no one has ever seen before, ruling all of America, all of the world with his new magic. And he says, yeah, some rebel dissidents tried to save their human rights by stabbing me in the heart, but I just made myself a new one out of modeling chocolates. Thank you so much, guys. I think that's gonna be all for me. I'm gonna tap out there.
Woo!
Thank you very much. Thank you, Brock.
Of course, yeah. Thank you, Julian. That was awesome. It was great, and I'm starting to realize that this is just becoming a roast of me practically with every comedian. Especially the last one, I'm like, oh fuck, why do you have to make a good point? Just by the way, everyone, keep in mind I'm going to be making highlights of everyone's stand-up sets next week. So if you want to watch some of your favorite comedians tell the best jokes, then check it out next week. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and everything. And thank you again for everyone who's here. Really appreciate it. So our next comedian, he's a little bit of a local legend. He's from Bellingham. He's a mascot for a baseball team. It's Matt Benoit.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Brock. Yes.
Chris told me that, and I was like, "What? No way!"
I am the. Want to make it very clear. I am not the main mascot performer, but the backup mascot performer for the Bellingham Dons. So catch me at random places downtown, dressed as a hamster, as our mascot is Dinger the Bellinghamster. Fun fact. So yeah, it's good to be here. I am coming to you from inside an episode of Stranger Things, as you can see from the wall behind me. We're here in this clearly in the 1980s, and I think things have been obviously all of us have had a lot of time to focus on ourselves with COVID because We can't spend time doing the usual, things that we would do, go to social gatherings, that sort of thing. So a lot more time at various times this year by yourself. I've used that, as a lot of people have, to try and improve myself, improve my life. One of the things I've done is this year I've stopped drinking, actually. And, that's, and that can be hard to do for different people. But I think most people that stop drinking, there is always a moment in which you realize you need to stop. And for me, that was during the pandemic. I was walking downtown, seeing what was open, walked by Mallard's, saw a sign that said hard ice cream sold here, and just thought, I bet that'll get me fucked up. Like, I need to stop. So I did. But, a lot of times people will stop one thing that's addictive and they will fill that void with something else if you have an addictive personality. And I'm one of those people, so I'm not drinking anymore, but I just recently started snorting my vitamins. So that's fun. A little weird though, because they're gummy vitamins. So that's, Flintstones, just like gotta do a line of gummy vitamins, Start the morning off right. That's what I do. I don't know. I'm also, of course, like many of you, exploring different streaming services and realizing that they vastly exceed my budget if I really wanted to get all of them, which is really annoying because there's we used to have everything. You just had cable and you could see everything that was available. And now things get removed from Netflix and they wind up on another service. And then pretty soon, if there's this amazing show you want to watch, it's on some random app like Quibi or Apple or some other app with a fruit name or just a random arrangement of letters. And then you're like, oh man, that has Christoph Waltz in it. I really want to see that. And they're like, well, you won't unless you subscribe to Clit TV for $10.95 a month. And you're like, I don't want Clit TV. I mean, actually, you might want Clit TV, but that's a different sort of thing. I don't know. It's other thing I've done, obviously during the pandemic, is been going for a lot of walks. Because I used to go to my gym pretty regularly, but with the distancing and mask wearing, it's a little difficult and uncomfortable to really do exercise properly. So I've just tried to exercise outside as much as I can, and saw a lost cat sign the other day that was very unusual. Normal picture of the cat that is lost, and then below it, it said it answered to 3 different names: Fluffy Man, Kitty Boy, and Goober. None of which are good cat names. And then below the 3 names, there were 3 separate phone numbers. One of which I'm sure was Glenn's burner phone. I'm pretty sure that has to be what it went to. Right? I mean, that's lost your cat, man. I'm sorry. But I was compelled to just take my phone out of my pocket and call one of those numbers just so I could tell the woman, be like, your cat is not coming back. Okay. If your cat has 3 aliases, it's gone for good. All right. Your cat left you, lady. That's how that, what's it? How long has that sign been there? Like 3 days. Your cat is already several states away. It dyed its fur in a Texaco bathroom, it's the Jason Bourne of cats. It's gone. You're never going to find it. If they make a movie about your cat, it's going to be called Gone Kitty Gone. That's what it's, I don't know. But another thing I think a lot of us have been doing lately is probably cleaning, because especially during lockdown when we couldn't really leave our homes back in the spring, you're like, well, what other kind of shit can I clean now? I've already cleaned the bathroom 3 times this week, so you're trying to fill time. So I was going through some old boxes of stuff that were in my parents' garage that, were from elementary school, high school, just really old stuff. Some of my childhood toys were let's get rid of these. The greatest thing I found, though, was apparently one Christmas, my grandparents had just given me, I don't know if you've heard of this toy, but it's a toy called pickup sticks. And if you're wondering what those are, they're just plastic sticks that you would throw on the ground and then pick up. That's the entire concept of this toy. The entire concept is you create a littering problem for yourself and then you fix it. That's the whole, there's there's no more like that's the most transparent your parents could be when they gave you that. They're just like, fucking throw that on there, occupy yourself, okay? Occupy yourself. Like that's man, it's just like, and now you're thinking about like who would give that to a kid now? Like if I didn't have my Xbox, I would have been screwed this year. Like, you know, sticks. I don't know. Of course, the other thing I've certainly done plenty of as a single person during COVID is, you know, I'm not going to lie, I have perhaps overutilized the great pornographic hub, as many of you know it. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to be too blunt, but you know, I've certainly spent more time on there than I would in a normal year, and I have to say I found just the most amazing video the other night. It was amazing. I've got a clip. No, I don't have a clip. Let's share the screen. All right, we're not gonna do that.
Trying to destroy the stream right now.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna get banned from YouTube for that. No, but I did find this video and it was amazing. And it was this video where this guy is, you know, as most videos start off, he is in his bedroom minding his own business, where suddenly the door flies open and he is just rudely confronted by both his stepsister and his adopted sister. And apparently the quandary is that both of them want to go to the local county fair, but he can only afford to take one of them. That is the premise of this video. And you know, as you do when you're in that situation, you can't settle it with a simple game of rock, paper, scissors. You have to settle it with just a good old fashioned, just sucking, humping throwdown of a threesome. That's how you settle it. And so I watched the video, and at first I was like, oh, this is gonna be good, you know, like, and then I just couldn't concentrate on anything else. I just kept thinking, how fucking amazing must this fair be? That someone is gonna fillet their own sibling just to be there. Like that's a damn good fair. Like I have been to several county fairs. I have been to Whatcom County's Linden Fair most years of my existence, and it is a great fair. It is great, but I've never wanted to be there so bad that I would blow anybody over it. Much less someone I am legally related to. You know, like that's oh man, that's a lot. And I just kept watching this video, going, "What the funnel cakes must be free." I don't know how she wants to go this bad. I don't know. You know, and I was just so obsessed with the idea of the fair that the video finished and I did not. That's what happened there. Just, you know, and then it got weird because I just kept thinking about it, and then I'm like, oh, there's got to be other fair related porn on Pornhub, and that's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down, because at some point, at that point, you're just masturbating the concept of the fair itself. Weird. Because you're just like, kettle corn is so good. Like you don't want to do that. I assume that's how carnies masturbate. They just think about fair-related things, like kettle. I don't know. Maybe you guys. I don't know if you have carny experience. If you do, maybe don't even bother talking about it because you probably don't want to know. But yeah, I feel like that's a good place to stop. So that is my time here, folks, and thanks for having me on the show.
Gotta look up that video now. I think the thing I was taking from that was when you were talking about snorting Flintstone vitamins, and I'm wondering, when you snort it afterwards, do you say yabba dabba doo?
Oh, I mean, you have to. Yes.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
it's tradition. Well, our next comedian, I don't know how he's gonna top this. Our next comedian is Sean Flicky. You're on. You got this. Woo! Woo!
There's more than one way to skin a cat, I used to say, which was a weird way to find out he was a sociopath. My name is Sean Flicky, pronounced, for you experiential learners, on Flicky. God, that feels so good to do that. When you have a last name like Flicky, elementary school is pretty rough. I'd like to thank the marketing wizards at the Bic Lighter Company for that Flick My Bic campaign. You sure know how to make a little guy find lots of growth opportunities. I'm a Cancer, both astrologically and socially. I'm 46 years old, which is still young enough to make a couple bad decisions tonight. And about 33 years too old to be wearing a hat like this. You know, in regards to my name, I have to be honest though, my online dating life has gotten much better since I changed the name of my profile. From Sean Flicky to Rich Benefactor. Now I'm slaying it. Up until about a month ago, I worked in a middle school for the last 6 years. Hey, you're welcome. Just a couple of pro tips on working in a middle school, especially if you work with middle school boys. If you're ever on a field trip or really anywhere for that matter, and there's trail mix available, really try not to complain about the nut skin caught in between your teeth. Just let it go, man. But if you do slip up and you accidentally complain about the nut skin caught in between your teeth, I hope you have an EpiPen ready. Because you're about to develop a serious D's nuts allergy. Pro tip number 2, if you ever work in a middle school, if you ever host a career day, you know, where you have like local businesses come in and do mock interviews, teach the kids what it's like to get in the big working world, don't even bother inviting Dick's Sporting Goods. Those interviews go sideways in a hurry, you know what I'm saying? You can just see the old guy with the white hair and the button-down Oxford saying, so tell me, when did you first hear about Dick's? From my friend. Follow-up question. Where do you see yourself with Dick's in 5 years? Bless their little hearts, though. They really are sweet. Puberty's undefeated. It's a really tough age. And they really do say the darndest things sometimes. What was that really funny thing that kid said to me? Oh, yeah. I fucking hate you! Sometimes I'd sit in that middle school and sit in those mock interviews, and I'd just start dreaming up my own business ideas. And that's going to bring me to one of my favorite comedy segments. Bad business idea. I have an idea for a play dating app for children. You know, where they can pick their play dates based purely on superficial how they look and a trumped up profile, you know, exaggerating how cool your hobbies are, you know. And that app is called Tindergarten. Bad business idea. I'm not saying that my social life has gotten bad in the pandemic. But the other day, I got a phone call from potential spam. And I was like, oh, there's potential. I'm crushing it 49.4 right now. 49 minutes a day, 4 days a week. That's going to bring up one of my new favorite comedy segments. It's called Arguments, Arguments I Win in the Shower. Hey guy at Lowe's who refuses to wear a mask. You mask hole. You won't do it for us, do it for yourself. Because your breath smells like a mask hole. Arguments, arguments I win in the shower. I think I really am entering the silverback gorilla phase of a man's life. Both because I'm handling shit like a boss, but also because I'm eating hundreds of pounds of leaves every week. It's not helping my waistline though. I'm worried about this winter. You know, I live in Washington and all my flannels are starting to not fit because I'm too fat. Tried them on the other day and I look like one of those 3D posters from the 90s, you know, where if you stare at it long enough, a picture emerges. Only on me, that picture was a maple bar. It's going to bring up one of my previously favorite bad business ideas. A lot of people out of work out there. I got an idea for all of us over 40 guys. It's a business that targets couples that are having a hard time keeping the romantic spark alive. It's an all male over 40 escort service. It's called Rude Awakenings. Our tagline is one night with the Rude Awakenings escort, and you'll go running back to that same old lover. Bad business ideas. You know, in times like these, there's a saying I wish I would have bought stock in January. But in times like these, though, seriously, I really do miss my grandpa. Such a cool guy, you know, he had so many useful skills for a time like this. Like the time he made me a homemade pair of mittens out of the black and white fur from my favorite cat, Sprinkles. God, I miss him. Grandpa used to also say this funny thing. He'd always say, you know, you can't judge a book by its cover unless that cover is made of foreskin. So I want to thank Glenn Bristow for the emotional support, saying we hope we don't have a bunch of coronavirus babies. I became a father in April.
Oh, that's the last one then. That's the last one.
It's one of the great joys. It's unbelievable, you know, just a tremendous amount of ugly crying, really, is what happens. It's just a tremendous amount of ugly crying that I'm doing these days. And my fiance also has children of her own, so that means I'm about to become a stepfather, which has given me a lot of pause and a lot of time to think about not only my dad joke game, but my stepdad joke game. What's the difference between a stepdad joke and a dad joke? Mostly the Camaro. But I got a few dad jokes, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one set as a dad, and then I'm gonna do the same set of 3 jokes as a stepdad, and just see if you can find the subtle differences, you know, in a stepdad joke and a dad joke. You know, play a little fun game at home. Dad jokes. Hey, what did the hot dog say to the bun? Bready or not, here I come. Hey, what did the nostril say to the pinky toe? You want a boogie? Hey, what did the left butt cheek say to the right butt cheek? I don't know, but seems like there's something really wrong between us. Now look for the subtle differences in the stepdad set. Hey, what did the hot dog say to the bun? You act like such a dick sometimes. Hey, what did the nostril say to the pinky toe? What the hell are you doing in here? Hey, what did the left butt cheek say to the right butt cheek? Look, I'm not the asshole here. Obviously, with having a baby, we had a lot of talk about naming babies around here. Naming a baby is tough, actually. You're really saddling a kid with something for the rest of their life. In the last century, my grandparents' generation, even some of my parents' generation, it seemed to be a thing where people would name their kids after qualities they hoped the child had, you know, like chastity, you know. I went to school with a girl named Chastity, or Prudence. There was a girl named Prudence, you know, the Beatles song. Hope, you know, that's a good one. Esperanza, that's a nice one. Patience, you know, really admirable qualities that you could hope to put on a child. I'm a little worried about the 21st century version of those names, though. You know, seems like we're kind of going the way of the buffalo a little bit. So can't wait for my son to finally walk into kindergarten and sit down next to a kid named Sick Abs. Or get invited to a birthday party with his little buddy Keto. Or have a little sleepover party at his friend Savage's house. Then I go into some family-friendly comedy right now. This is my stand-up bit only for babies. So you can mute me out if you're not a baby. This is just for the babies. Are you ready? Baby, who's the sweetest baby? Age is such a relative thing, you know. The other day I was with my grandma, and she was, my grandma's 94, and there was a 68-year-old in the room. My grandma turned to the 68-year-old and she goes, "You're such a baby." And I was like, wow, a 68-year-old's a baby. And later we were talking, and the 6-year-old was like, "You're such a baby. You're such a baby. You have so much life yet to live." And I was like, wow, I'm still a baby. And then later on, you know, the 68-year-old had their grandkid there who was 21, and I was like, "You're such a baby. You don't even know what you're talking about yet. You haven't done shit, you know." And then later, the 21-year-old who actually brought their baby was saying to the baby, like, "You're such a baby," you know. And then that baby actually turned to another baby. You know what that baby said? That baby was like, I can't even hold my head up, man. That's going to bring me back to one of my new comedy segments. Arguments, I win in the shower. I notice there's 12 viewers right now. Am I enough now, Dad? Huh? Arguments, I win in the shower. I'm going to close with this. My soon-to-be stepson said to me the other day, I'm going to tell you my whole life story. And I was like, shit. It's going to take like 10 years. I've been Sean Flicky. Thank you so much for supporting Cyber Comedy Jams. For those of you who've had to hear these jokes before, Brock told me this week I had to do 20 minutes and I had like, 7 minutes of new material. So thank you for hanging in.
Who else wants to say anything else that's wrong with Brock? Anyone?
This is going to be like a batting range of just everyone like, just keep roasting me. It's fine. I think I'm done. I think I'm at 420, 425. I don't know how long it takes to cook a human. I'm glad I don't know that. That wasn't supposed to be funny. I'm just being stupid. Anyways, so we're getting closer to the end. Very glad this is going so well for everyone. Great job to all the comedians. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate all you guys coming out. Really means a lot. It does take a lot of time to put together this show, and I really do appreciate it. So, oh, look at that. Matt even gave a thumbs up. Look at that. All right, so we're down to the last comedian, and he's got, oh, look at that. JR even gave me a clap. Thank you. We got the last comedian. He's got the jizz covered background apparently, so don't get a black light near it. JR Berard.
Oh, hey, internet. Yeah. So COVID's weird. What a terrible. Give it up for all the other comics that you've seen, to the 4 people that aren't comedians watching this show. Like there's literally like a dozen people who just, if there's 6 of us, 7 of us comedians and a dozen people, that's just 5 extra people who like are brand new to YouTube and they're like, we don't know how to click out of this show quite yet. Yeah, this is gonna be different. It's nice to see the rooms that 7 other people masturbate in for anybody. So yeah, like Brock said, I would go to my bedroom and I'm like, let's get the thing I fuck on and around to tell jokes in front of. Yeah, this is first time doing comedy in 6 fucking months. So we're gonna find out if I'm still a comedian or like a medium okay OnlyFans account. So if anybody wants to see me naked, just stay tuned for after. What? No. Like to solicit a joke. Yeah. So this is where I masturbate. If we're doing like an MTV Cribs kind of vibe. I know it's like, tell a joke, asshole. Okay, well. Before COVID, everything I'm gonna say is before COVID, right? Because it's all about being out in the fucking world doing shit. And I just don't know of another like a better way to be like, okay, well, but like, so if you just do it up front and then just assume, I mean BC. Yeah. I have got a best friend that likes to get drunk and steal shit. I don't know if anybody else has one of those or is one of those, because that's totally, you could just be that too if you wanted to be something in life. and that's what my best friend and I do. It's our favorite pastime. We get drunk and then we take shit that literally isn't ours. And like when I say that, I don't mean like this like methed out, like break into your place and then steal literally only what we can carry and then sell it to buy more drugs later. What I mean is like if we're drunk, walking home from the bar, and you have a Travelocity gnome in front of your house, he's coming with us, and then we're gonna book a trip as soon as we get home, dude. He's the guy that's gonna fucking help facilitate that. But yeah, that's what I mean, right? And like my best friend is one of these guys that like when we're drinking, he's got to justify like why it's cool for us to be stealing whatever it is we set our hearts on while we were fucking hammered, right? Like several months ago, before it was like not cool to fucking do it, right? Right, before COVID. We're walking home from the bar, right? And we decided to walk because we wanted to make like one good decision before 19 shitty ones. You know what I mean? We just had a rough night of drinking before. Let's get one good one out of the way before the rest of the thing just fucking craters, right? And my best friend starts pointing out street signs to me. He's like, hey man, you see that street sign? It says JR Way. That's your street sign, man. I'm looking up at this thing and I'm like, but like way more of that sign says Martin Luther King. And I don't think they're gonna like it if we fucking steal that, right? Just a big fat white guy swinging from it like, I almost got it. That's a cork wrench for any millennials who are watching right now. The dozen of people watching who might not know what fucking tools are. Or the fact that it takes a 5/8 inch socket to get the sign off of the pole. Yeah, that's right. My best friend, he's drunk and he's mad that I don't want to take this fucking thing. He's like, man, you need to quit being such a slave to society's rules. And I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to use that word around this sign. You're in a terrible neighborhood. Yeah, so we had a nice little sprint hump. It was good. It was good. I will add, my mom hung up this sheet. No, I don't know. This is like, what do you do on like an online, like normally you would go to a comedy show and you would like poke fun at the fucking venue, but what if it's your place, right? Hey, look at all these fucking stupid pictures on the wall. Oh, thanks, JR. Right now. You can't do any of the classic like comedy stuff, right? I can't go like, oh, look at all the fucking funky, you know. Oh man, that went off the rails quick. Good. Yeah. Yeah. There's not gonna be any line of logical thought to any of this. Like, fucking, I'm just happy to fucking tell jokes to people after fucking this long. Jesus Christ. I found out in college kind of women that I'm into, like in life in general, right? And it just ended up being like women with tattoos and piercings. Like that's the shit that I'm into, right? You have to be covered in ink or have holes all over your fucking body. Like that's what does it for me, right? But in finding that out, you also get to find out that women who are into that shit just also own dildos, like plural, like dildi. I don't know if that's what, like a bushel of dildos, like, right? There's multiple. They were all black. She owned a murder of dildos, right? Okay, no bird jokes. I'm sorry, everybody, for the fucking. She owned a drawerful of dildos. If anybody's keeping track. So like, with a college girlfriend, I was fooling around at one point, many years ago. We're in bed, and she like whispers in my ear. She's like, "I got a surprise for you, baby." And I'm like, "Food during sex? Oh, honey, you fucking shouldn't have. Oh, Jesus Christ." She goes into the bathroom and she's gone for a little bit. And like, what I knew about her beforehand was like she owned dildos, but these weren't for her. She used them on other people. And like I've wrestled fingers out of my ass before in like any kind of sexual position, right? Like, okay, let's move on from this, right? So like she comes back from the bathroom and all I see is her silhouette. And it just looks like she's holding like a Subway sandwich. And I just see her in the, I'm like, honey, that's a weird place to hold a sandwich after everything we just fucking did. So, and she steps into the light and everything becomes illuminated. And I just see this long, flesh mimicky, veiny, NASA-sized dildo. It's got moving parts to tickle things that I don't have. Well, let's find out, right? He's like, honey, you're gonna love it. And I'm like, it's not my birthday. Just put that away, please. Jesus. Yeah. But. So I let her do it, right? She's got it out. She pulled it out of the fucking garage, you know. I've never seen them with kickstands before, but this one just happened to be like that size. So, and I'll give it up to like any woman that's like into that because it was way less fun than I thought it was gonna be. Like I'm in front of her and I'm like, take it out of the box first. Jesus Christ. Yeah, in the box. Dildo joke. We did it, baby. Yeah. Oh, this is good. This is COVID times, right? Online telling jokes to people. This is good. I find myself like I'm on social media a lot just because like what else is going on, right? So you're like thumbing through. And I still see even now like tons of like desserts on people's Insta, like just everybody's eating sweets. That's what's going on now, right? And like I follow a handful of influencers because I'm not above it, right? And like everybody's posting, it's like the same dessert, right? It's like the 5 bars of chocolate stacked up at like whatever restaurant. And basically how the whole thing typically goes down, it's like 400 influencers at a restaurant. They're all at the same table because internet, and then like everybody's just screaming because that's how you influence people to listen to you, is you be louder than everything else fucking around you. And it's always like the same chef with this look on his face. He's like, get the food to the table as fast as fucking possible and just get these monsters out of my restaurant. But please give me a 5-star Yelp review on your shit. I don't know how he does that with this, but he does, right? And the dessert, it looks like 4 dilly bars from Dairy Queen, and he's like kicking the popsicle sticks under the fucking fridge or whatever, right? And they pour hotter chocolate over it and everything melts and there's ice cream in the shit. And it kind of got me thinking to like what was like a fancy dessert when I was growing up. And I don't know if any of you guys, or a couple of you probably old enough to remember, is Viennetta ice cream cake. Yeah, you know what I mean? Remember Viennetta ice cream cake? Like that was like the bastion of like fine desserts like back in the 90s, right? What it was, for the people that don't know, it was basically a giant hunk of ice cream cake with like wavy frilly shit around the edges and like layered thin pieces of chocolate kind of throughout vanilla ice cream. And like the commercial is like the butler's arm with the utensil that you don't have cutting through this fine piece of ice cream cake the way nobody does. And it's just, you can just hear the chocolatey crumble like under the weight of your own poverty is how like the Viennetta ice cream cake. It's 5-star dining. Viennetta ice cream cake is the Olive Garden of dessert. Like if you're here, you don't actually have a home is probably your... It's basically the official ice cream cake of NASCAR, right? And you better hope to Christ that you fucking cut this thing fast enough because it's melting before it touches your Dale Earnhardt Jr. fucking commemorative. Half of it's gone, man. Like it would be nice if you lived under a bridge. This would be a nice ice cream cake for everybody. Oh, yeah, that's desserts now, man. I don't know. I wrote that this week. That was my new shitting on ice cream for one. It's not done. There'll be a lot more to that, but I just feel like, you know, I got to take desserts down a fucking peg or two. So, yeah, my parents are about to celebrate 40 years of marriage. That's a lot of marriage. That's more marriage than most of us are probably ever going to have, I would guess at this point. Is anybody else watching Married? Can anybody talk to me that's saying that? No, probably, but I don't know how many people are still watching, but 40, and like when people are married that long, you typically want to know like, hey, what's the secret, right? And usually when the subject comes up, like my dad, without skipping a beat, will be like, Vaseline. But like not how you think, right? So like this secret to anything long lasting is to keep it fucking right. You gotta have. So we're talking about my parents like coital, but like it's cool, man. My parents fuck, so like, you just gotta say it. And then you're like, oh, okay, it's cool to be like, okay, they're human, right? So my parents would. Like my brother and I were curious kids. So like anytime there was a door shut in the house growing up, we would be like reaching under like cats, like what's going on the other side of this thing that we can't hear any of the, because we're curious, right? So like what my parents would do is when they were trying to keep it spicy and bone, that's a good parent word, they would close the door and they'd put Vaseline on the door handle so my brother and I couldn't spin it. Right? So they could fuck. And then we were like, hey, what's on the door handle? Just like, okay, but seriously. And I can recall like at one point, I think I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, like doors locked, Vaseline handle. I remember just knocking and going like, hey, Mom, Dad, what's going on? And my dad just, there's Sean with his child. Hello. Most people I don't know if they can see the zoomness going on, but they can't, but I see a child on the thing. All right, so this is the baby part of the joke. Basically, Sean, whenever your kids interrupt sex later on, you just tell them you're doing taxes, and that just dispels all fucking children in a 30-block radius, actually. They'll just stop doing what they're doing and just spread out over a fucking... My dad will be like, oh, I'm giving your mom a hard audit. He's got one of those like tax hats on with the green see-through bill, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good burp. So like, I don't know if it's gonna surprise anybody, the dozen of people watching. I used to get hit on like by a lot of men before all this, where I was locked in a fucking apartment for months masturbating day in, day out. You know, like you do. It was always weird for me getting hit on by a dude. Because like I never know what to say to a guy who's trying to get up into my goodies. Yeah, because I didn't know that I had goodies that could be gotten up into, right? Like a while back, I was at Starbucks buying a drink for a lady friend, right? And I'll never forget the name of this drink. It was a tall, dark cherry mocha. which is like code between like me and the barista guy that I don't know about, where it's like you, me, butt stuff later, hooray, and then just confetti and balloons from the ceiling, right? He's like caressing my hand at the drink pass. He's like, tall, dark, and I'm like, how about barrel chested and pasty? Because that's what you're getting into here, buddy. Like that's all this is. And like any other store, this Starbucks is tucked inside around the corner from 30 more Starbucks because we live in Seattle and Starbucks. I was grabbing a couple things before I get out, and I run into the barista guy again in an aisle. He was very excited to see me again. Like we're long lost anything that I don't think we are. He's like, oh my God, tall, dark cherry mocha, just reaching it, nothing. And I just look at him and I'm like, we're not at nicknames yet. I don't know why I was wearing a lace robe, but I was, because it's my fucking story. So this is how I'm telling it. And he starts hitting on me, like really laying it on thick. And I let him get a couple in because sometimes it's huge periods of time between women saying nice shit to me, right? He keeps trying to tell me that I have fuck me eyes. And I'm like, oh, bro, you're getting those mixed up with my no, thank you eyes. Actually, you'll notice a lack of consent in this general area. And at one point I stop him. I'm like, hey, dude, you seem like a really nice guy, but I'm straight. No harm, no foul. And he takes attitude with that. He's like, oh no, honey, you're just playing hard to get. And I walk away thinking like, fuck, was I? Like, is that what I was doing back there? Like I'm inside my head going, make him work for it, JR. You're worth it. It takes a lot to make a lady like me feel pretty. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do my super secret long form closer. This is fun. I haven't done this one in months. So I'm happy to like bust it out and like fucking do it again. I feel like a really bad magician who's got shitty tricks. I'm like, yeah, this one it's my finger and it's good. Anybody knows magic? Sean, that was mostly for your kid. Also, does he like this? He's just like, let me just grab all this shit. I'm like, no, there's COVID all over it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so before all the shit, I got mugged. I don't know if anybody else has been. It's a horrible way to spend the night. It was a terrible situation. I was in West Seattle, just minding my own business, right? Just waiting for an Uber. But I happened to have at the time this shoulder bag situation that just makes me a mark just out in public when I'm alone in the dark, right? And I didn't see him coming, but I was approached by 3 hooded youths. Dress for the job you want, guys. They approached me and they politely asked that I hand over the bag, bitch. It was like way over the top. Like I just didn't. And I'm awkward enough as it is with people I know one-on-one or interpersonally in general. But like now I've got what I think is a loaded weapon pointed at my face. And so I'm just like, this belongs to you guys now. Do you need a receipt? Because I don't know how this is supposed to work. I don't want you to get in trouble with the, IR. And they just take off into the night forever, right? And what I found out that night was like really the worst part about getting mugged is the fact that like when you call the cops, because that's the only chance you have of getting your shit back, is you have to reenact that whole terrifying situation that has just unfolded out for brand new people because the cops want all the juicy deets. I'm standing on the same street corner in Seattle with cops like finger in my face, like, what did these kids look like? What were they wearing? And I turned into that 16-year-old who didn't want to tell his parents what happened at the party I threw at their house, right? Like I'm staring at the ground, just kicking rocks. Like, I don't know what you're gonna get out of me. So, also, not even my bag. I was just holding it for friends and shit got really out of hand and I couldn't control, right? So I tell you that part of the story so I can tell you this part. Leading up to getting mugged, I was having maybe one of the second worst nights of my life up until I got mugged, right? I was cat sitting and house sitting for some friends in West Seattle, right? I was watching little Felix. I've known Felix for many years. He's one of those cats that like when you get to a place and he recognizes you, he does that infinity thing in between your legs. Nice little like feline companionship thing. It's great. So I go out with some friends in Seattle. We do some drinking. They drop me off back at this house and I can't find this cat. Right? I'm punch drunk, just stumbling over shit because I'm not super familiar and like in the dark with somebody else's fucking place. And I'm walking around doing like the here kitty kitty like call thing. And I finally make it into their bedroom and I see this cat's tail poking out from underneath the bed. And I'm like, those normally move. So like I bend down to grab it and I'm like, they don't normally let you do this. And I haul this thing out from underneath the bed. And there I am standing like a drunk idiot holding the deadest animal I've ever held in my entire fucking life, right? I'm drunk trying to call any of my friends back. Nobody's picking up the phone because my friends are assholes. But I'm a little lucky because I went to WSU, right? And I know it's like a weird part of like a story like this to be like, go Cougs about, but like I'm gonna.
Go Cougs.
Yeah, exactly, boom. Like when I was in college, I hung out with a lady who ended up becoming a vet, right? Lucky. So I still have her number in my phone and I call her up and like the 11th time she finally picks up the phone, she's like, what could you possibly want at this hour of the night? And like, I just start babbling into the phone. I'm like, I got a dead cat. I've done the Google recommended mouth to snout thing with the airlock and nothing. I'm not getting any results with and she's like, just bring the cat over to my place. Here's my address. I'll take a look. It sounds like it's dead. And before she can even finish her sentence, I'm like, sold. And I hang up the phone. But like, you don't just like take a dead cat out into the world with that. Like, it's not Portland. I'm not trying to keep shit weird here in So like I'm rooting around their place and I find this nice like Louis Vuitton shoulder bag in one of their closets and I'm like, oh yeah, this will work. And I'm just shoving this cat and I'm like, you deserve better, Felix, zip forever. And then on my way out the door, I dial up an Uber. And as soon as I get outside, I am greeted by 3 gentlemen who are like, give us the fucking bag, you fat asshole, or whatever I said that they said the first time. And like, what blows my mind about this whole night is just knowing that these 3 guys got to wherever they were going, opened this bag, and thought, what in the fuck is wrong with that guy we just mugged? Because internet, that's not how you let the cat out of the bag. That's it. That's what I got tonight, guys. Thanks for having me. Brock, appreciate you, brother.
That's great.
I really love part of the story where you were like, it was the deadest animal that I'd ever seen. Like I've held a lot of dead animals, but this one was more dead
When you're drunk, it magnifies the dead. Oh man, it's really
Look
good.
at that fucking owl.
It had been double tapped. It was gone.
Look at that. See that?
Well, we're coming to the end of our show now. I am so happy with all the community. Y'all did great. And I want to say appreciation for the first show because we actually, that one got almost 100 views total. So thank you. Let's hope we can get 100 views on this one. So yeah, everyone did great. I'm so happy you all made it out. So thank you again. I can't say drive safe because no one's leaving a bar or a club. So I guess have a good night, sleep well, don't let the bed bugs bite.
And just in general, drive safe. Just
Yeah, in general, just drive safe. Don't be an asshole. Don't cut people off.